Hello, this is David Little with the Math MIC, class of 2010. This is the substitute assignment for the YouTube video. I'm doing a podcast. I'm interviewing Mr. Theodore Noble, a former high school computer science teacher. Mr. Noble is someone that I play an online game with that has some experience with some of these educational issues, in particular copyright issues. So, Mr. Noble, I was curious if you could talk to us about some websites that either sell information or papers you had mentioned that's a resource for students.
Yes, it's just becoming a little bit more of a problem these days. The students are either not willing or unable to do their homework. Instead of doing book reports or papers, they're just going to the internet and typing in a few select words and be able to get entire sections of documents dedicated to the subject that they need. It's just becoming more and more of a problem, sadly.
So, just as a symptom of the digital age, I guess, since this is the information age, students are just able to pull this information, and we as new teachers need to be looking out for this. I guess in particular, what did you do as a teacher to combat this in your classroom?
It's slightly more difficult than other assignments. You have to go and you have to start paying a little bit more attention to the students, start paying attention to how they write things, their grammar that they use, the syntax that they use in sentence structure. You have to start looking at their paperwork beside their homework and see if that's the same way that they're writing everything, see if it's changing, and if it seems like it's out of the norm or they're using different structure and whatnot, then sadly it's more likely that they're cheating.
Okay. Um, and for your students, if you ever I'm assuming you did have some instances of this happening.
So,
When, when this did happen, what were the penalties for your students?
well, it basically broke down to a three-step process. The first time it happened, we would contact the parents and I would work with the students to have to go and redo the paperwork. The second time it would happen, we would get the school counselors involved and we'd have the teachers come down for a meeting and talk to them. And if it progressed to a third stage, then we would have to start taking discipline action against the students.
I see. Sort of a side note, I guess, was your school very supportive of any discipline action in these cases?
Yes, because it's more of, it's not just so much as an act of plagiarism on the act of the student. It's the fact that they're actually just not doing the work. They're, as I said, they're not wanting to or unwilling to learn, and they're not going to accomplish anything if this is the mindset they're getting into at a high school level.
Very understandable. Um, as far as advice for catching or monitoring this for new teachers, what would you have for me and my MIC colleagues?
As I said, the only thing you can really do is you have to take a little bit more time and pay attention to the students. If they're able to work on the projects while in your classroom, then you can keep an eye on them. Sad to say it that way. But if they're using any open source from the internet, if they're using digital age technology to help them, then the chances of plagiarism and copying work is just too great and too easy to happen these days. You just have to keep an ever vigilant eye and hope for the best. It's sad to say, but that's all that can be done.
Well, unfortunately, I guess I am going to be entering into the classroom, and I'll have sort of the same fears as you. Not so much with the math classroom, but definitely I understand your concerns. But thank you again so much for talking with me, and maybe someday you'll wind up back in the classroom where I think you should be.
Maybe. We'll see.
Thank you again.